Hello everyone and welcome to this week's behind the scenes devlog video, and it is of course the start of a brand new year. So I'm getting back to work today after my time off over Christmas. I spent the last couple of weeks in England with my family and I didn't really get that much done in those 2 weeks because I ended up being quite busy and also quite ill, which was really annoying. But I'm better now, getting back to work today, and I've got a completely free schedule, so I should hopefully be making some good progress on Equilinox over the next few weeks. So my main focus this year is of course finishing Equilinox and hopefully being able to release it, which is something that I'm really looking forward to because obviously I've never had the chance to release a game before, so it will hopefully be a new and exciting experience for me. So that's really what I'm going to be concentrating on over the next few months, just finishing, polishing up and preparing to release Equilinox. This morning I've just been testing something out with the water that someone suggested in a comment on one of my videos, and that is to have the water vertices get distorted in the X and Z direction as well as just up and down in the Y direction. So you can see that going on here, and it's created a bit more of a wobbly effect to the water, which I really like, but at the same time I'm just wondering if it's going to be worth the extra calculations in the vertex shader, because now these sine functions have to be calculated 3 times as much as they were before. So I'm just trying to do some performance tests to see if it's actually going to be worth it or not. It is 1:30 now, I'm just having some lunch, and for the rest of the morning I was just working on tidying up some of the audio streaming code. And also I went for a run just before lunch, which is something that I haven't been doing recently since I moved to Berlin, but I thought seeing as it's the new year I should probably try and start doing that every day again. But it didn't go very well because it's kind of cold outside, it's about -10 degrees, so my ears got pretty cold. Still making some changes to the code for streaming audio this afternoon because I've been reading up a bit more about it and I've found some more efficient ways of doing it, and I've also been going through the code and commenting it all. This evening I'm reading up quite a bit about geometry shaders because although I've read quite a lot about them before and I have a pretty good idea of how they work, I've never actually tried them out myself, so I thought it was about time that I did. Also, I thought they might be quite useful for the water in Equilinox because there are quite a few calculations that I do per vertex which could actually be done per triangle, and that could help to improve the performance a bit. And in case anyone was wondering, because I get asked this quite a lot, these are the 2 books that I have for OpenGL, and all the rest of the information I just get from online tutorials and game dev forums. Good morning everyone, it is 8:30 on a very cold and wintry Tuesday morning here in Berlin, and today I'm just going to be preparing everything for this month's release to the Patreon supporters today. It is coming up to 10 o'clock, and this morning I've just been doing a bit more stuff to do with audio streaming for music. So you can see here that new chunks of the music file are being loaded up every second, and at the same time old chunks of sounds which have already been played are being deleted from memory, so there's never more than about 3 seconds of the music track loaded up at any one time. So I'm having a little bit of trouble at the moment, and this always happens when I try to export the game to a jar file. Every single time it's always working fine in Eclipse, and then I go and try and export it and I get some sort of annoying error. And this time it was a mark reset not supported error, which I did manage to fix. It was to do with loading audio files. I was using an input stream, and I've changed that to a URL, which is now working and the error's no longer there. But if I go ahead and run the game from the jar file, you can hear that that's not what it should be sounding like. And if you have a look here, this is it trying to read an audio file. So this is the number of bytes available in the file. This is how many it's trying to read, 100,000, and this is how many it's successfully read, 0. So obviously something going wrong there, and that's coming straight from Java's audio input stream.read method, which makes it a little bit tricky to debug because I can't really see what's going on in there. But yeah, I'm going to try and work out what's going wrong here. It is coming up to 12 o'clock and I finally managed to fix the error that was annoying me all morning. And again, it was something to do with the way that I was loading audio. So to start with, I was using input streams and that was giving the mark reset not supported error. Then I changed to URLs, which fixed that error, but as you heard, it made the sound really crazy. But now I'm using buffered input streams and that seems to have fixed everything. It's 2 o'clock now, I just had some lunch, and now I'm working on this month's release notes for Equilinox. So I've just been going through all the audio streaming code and adding some comments because I want it all to be nicely documented. But I'm going to stop in a bit and have some dinner. Also, it's been snowing quite a bit. You can't really see it, but you'll see it tomorrow. And yeah, I'm going to have some dinner and then I'm going to send off the rewards to the Patreon supporters. It is 7:30 in the evening now, just stopping for some dinner and also preparing to send off the Patreon rewards. It is 8:15 in a very wintry, snowy looking Berlin, and today I'm just going to be going through the engine, tidying up a few things, fixing any last little glitches and loose ends, and probably making a start on this week's tutorial as well. Just been tidying up some of the code in the engine this morning, and I was mainly concentrating on the post-processing stuff, so the depth of field effect and the bloom shader. But I'm done with that now, so I'm going to get some lunch, and then this afternoon I will probably start working on the tutorial. This afternoon I've just been fixing a few little glitches in the engine, so I fixed an issue with the depth of field effect, which wasn't quite working properly when you zoomed in or out too quickly. And now I've been working for ages trying to see if there's some way that I can fix this wobbly edge issue with the water, but it's very tricky. I'm not sure if there's going to be a way that I can fix it really, and I'm just going to try and concentrate on minimizing it as much as I can so that it's as unnoticeable as possible. So I'm just doing a bit of work on this week's tutorial, which is going to be about random terrain generation, and you can see an example of it here. So this afternoon I've just been implementing it into the tutorial engine and making a few notes as I go along so that I don't forget what I need to change when I record myself coding it. Just finishing off for the day now, and this evening I've just been answering a few comments and emails, but I'm so behind on my emails at the moment, so I'm really sorry if any of you have sent me an email and are waiting for a reply, because I've got about 200 in my inbox at the moment, so it's going to take me a little while to get through them all, but I am slowly getting through them bit by bit every day. It is Wednesday morning, and today I've got quite a few things I want to get through. Firstly, I need to hunt down the cause of an annoying frame rate issue which causes the frame rate to dip ever so slightly every 30 seconds, which is a little bit annoying, so I'm going to try and find out what's causing that. And then I also need to revisit the batch rendering stuff because there's been a problem with that, so I'm going to have a look, try and find out what the problem is and hopefully fix that. It is 10 o'clock, and this morning I've been hunting down the cause of the annoying frame rate drops, and I've managed to narrow it down to the display.update method, which is pretty much the worst place it could be coming from because that's a lightweight Java game library method, and so it's very hard for me to find out exactly what is causing these frame rate drops. Just stopping for some lunch now, and for the rest of the morning I've just been planning out how I'm going to reshuffle the batch rendering system, which I'm going to be starting work on this afternoon. So what I'm trying to do this afternoon with the batch rendering is to make sure that as few VBO updates take place per frame as possible. And there are quite a few VBOs that get updated regularly. So there's the static VBO, which contains all the static objects data in the scene. Then there's the dynamic VBO, which contains all the data for the dynamic objects like the sheep. And finally there's the terrains VBO, which has to be updated whenever the terrain changes colour. So I've made a list here of all the things, all the actions that could cause a VBO to be updated, and the system that I'm creating at the moment needs to make sure that only one of these actions get carried out every frame. So I've given each of these actions a priority in the code, and whenever one of these actions needs to be carried out, a ticket will be created for it, and then every frame the system is going to carry out the ticket with the highest priority, but at the same time all the tickets that don't get carried out, their priority is going to be increased every frame, so the longer a ticket is around, the higher priority it gets, so eventually even low priority actions will get carried out before too late. And everything that needs to be carried out straight away will always be carried out in the next couple of frames. Just got back from having dinner with some friends, and now I'm just finishing off the day by answering a few YouTube comments, and also just trying to do a little bit more work on the reshuffling of the batch rendering system, which I'm hoping to finish off tomorrow morning. It is Friday morning, and today the first thing that I've got to do is to edit this week's behind the scenes devlog video, which is going out this evening. Pretty much finished editing together the behind the scenes devlog video, apart from whatever I'm going to film this afternoon. So I'm just stopping for some quick lunch now, and then this afternoon I'm going to finish off the batch rendering stuff and do a bit more work on this week's tutorial. Finally finished work on all the batch rendering and VBO update stuff, and that all now seems to be working very smoothly, and it's making sure that there aren't too many VBO updates whenever new objects are added to the world or when objects are changing state. So that's all working smoothly now, and I'm going to start work on tomorrow's tutorial. So that is it for another week of game development. There should be a tutorial either tomorrow or on Sunday, and then next Friday there's going to be a regular devlog video. If you want to see some updates about Equilinox during the week, you can follow me on any of my social media pages. All of the links are in the description below. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching this video. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you all next time.